Welcome to a very special Lismore Cup top-up show where Glenn is here. He's getting ready to do the mounting yard, but I've got the Brains Trust to have a quick look over this card today. We've just walked the track. It does appear, and I'll give you some footage, it does appear that the grass on the inside is favourable. So that is the order of the day. We kick off with a maiden here at 12.50. There's a couple of Matthew Dunns, and the top one is actually the favourite, the Sledgehammer. Gord, are you playing early or not?
Definitely playing early. Going to back number one, Sledgehammer. I love horses that are particularly targeting these country cups. This guy's a local trainer. It's a Melbourne horse that's running actually metropolitan races. It's had the hit out to get ready for this. Looks like a setup to me, and there's only one danger, which is number two, Chase the Future. So I'll just be blacking the Sledgehammer, and if Chase the Future blows enough, I might have a save on it.
All right, Nige, are you in play here or waiting to see? Getting first look at the track?
No, I think Paul and I have had a look at the Sledgehammer, and we feel like it's advantaged here compared to its last run. It's actually raced on the inside, which wasn't the place to be. Today, not too sure where it maps, but it's sort of got a good local jockey who knows the right places to go here in McGarren. So expecting that it's the one. Chase the Future hung in last start, and which worries me. So I'm happy. I sort of wanted to bet around that horse.
Okay, good early test of the track if the Sledgehammer does find himself in a position that we're not used to and is able to overcome that. Race 2 is the second maiden. It's the 1200 metre maiden, and there is a filly here that is resuming for Tony Gollan, Sizzling Power. She's the favourite, and of course she showed good speed in a Saturday 2-year-old race in Brisbane. Paul, are we for or against her?
Oh, I'm against her price. I mean, you mentioned she was pretty short this morning. It was about 5 to 4 or something?
Yeah.
So I've got it clear top pick at 2 to 1, but I couldn't back it at that short. I thought other horses that fitted in was the 2 Bozzoni, ridden by Brad, and the 13 is next best, which is how would you pronounce that? Rasawi, yep.
We'll get A. Collins on the job there.
Chris Munster's horse, so I'm sure Chris is not down here just for today.
Right, Gord, are you playing this one?
12 wins, Sizzling Power. Any black odds I reckon is decent. The horse ran around at $5 in a metropolitan race. Well, for me, running
this
around...
is your pearl, isn't it? Leader down in grade.
Leader down in grade, and to be honest, I think it should be odds on.
Nige, anything to add there?
No, well, I think the favourite leads, and expecting that to be an advantage. So not too sure that it will shorten, but yes, certainly looks the number one play.
All right, race 3 is a fairly steady-looking Class 1 that I certainly found hard to get through. Gord, have you got any insight here?
No, well, I wasn't interested in any of the favourites. The one that I could entertain each way is number one, Shirazzle, just because it's coming off that provincial form at Kembla.
Yeah, long spell. Nigel, anything here?
Probably not going to bet, but I note the favourite has drawn barrier 1, and if we've already stamped barrier 1 as a big advantage, then
this is my cousin Steve.
Cousin Steve. So if we've stamped it by then, it could be a small play.
Paul, anything to add?
Look, I thought it was a pretty open race. Cubics and Painter's Reward and My Cousin Steve,
the main chances,
and even Northern Dragon. But yeah, tough race, and it'll just depend on prices, I think.
All right, the first of the features is race 4, the Brazilian, and it's over the 15-16. Evo Pex, who is a horse that many of us know quite well, turns up here, but perhaps under siege, Nige?
Well, for me, I just rather... for me, the safer bet is Bon Costa, only because it's the pace in the race. It's quite a solid horse, so if I've got it leading and controlling, I've got it hard to run past. I concede it's at its right price, but I don't want to back anything.
Why the riding change, I wonder?
Yeah, not too sure about that.
So Tegan Harrison rode it to win the Morelenbach Cup, and then he's turned up here with race spokes. Gord, which way are you going here?
Against first and second favourites, which are Evo Pex and Bon Costa. Evo Pex, if it runs to its peak figure, which was a lifetime ago, it'll win this race. But it's nowhere near in that form at the moment, so I'm against it at the price. The one I am interested in is number 4, Malmusa, yet again locally trained horse, set up for this race with the 12-12, now up to 15-16, I think. What is it? 1516. I think that screams of a perfect setup, and I've got barrier 1, so I know this horse is going to be in the right spot during the run.
Okay, back marker there. Paul, do you want to add?
Look, I'm with Bon Costa on top. Evo Peck's second pick, and I thought Cool Prince fitted in here in this race. Depending on where it gets to on the map, that could be the only problem for it.
Race 5, the sprint, the feature sprint, and Torfik Boy is red hot, drawing the inside marble. Do we start with him, Nigel, or is he vulnerable here?
I find this race fascinating only because, first of all, I start with who's going to lead, and I feel General Nelson will, but then it's a 1,000-metre horse taking on 1,200 metres, which I think it's very vulnerable at. Factor in that there's two other horses that like to lead as well, Wudang Blade and Apollo Boom, and I think we've got a high-pressure race. So then you turn to Torfik Boy, but Torfik Boy's very short, I think, with 62 kilos and $2.20 odd. So
might have traffic problems. When the leader is going to collapse onto you and you're in barrier 1, sometimes that can be a little bit tricky, particularly when you're taking a short price.
So last year's best bet was Almas, and it did the job for us by a nose. I'm tempted to stay loyal.
Wow, okay. Doesn't seem to be in quite the same form or gets quite the same run. But anyway, Gord, are you playing this race?
Betting.
Not betting. And Paul, have you got...
Look, Torfik Boy, I've got it equal top pick with General Nelson, who's a query at the distance. I know it has won over 1,200 before, but has a massive weight drop off its last start win, which was an easier race, albeit. But, depending on how this track's playing, it could be the one that just keeps bobbing along. So.
Race 6, 1,400 metre Class 2, and another race that I thought was quite even and deep. Gord, have you got something that sticks out here?
Not betting in that race either.
All right, Nigel?
Speculative bet on Grey Skies, only because it loves to lead. It's not a reliable beginner, so sometimes it does miss the start by a little bit, but if it jumps on terms and finds the lead at $16-17, that type of price, I think it's worth a speculative bet.
All right, Paul, what are you suggesting there?
Oh, look, it's a hard race. I found it hard to split Cool Wedge and Successor. And then I've got, Kid Lad, Boyles and Hayburn are all very close. So
yeah,
probably no betting race, but if I have to force myself, Cool Wedge.
All right, quite even. The penultimate is the Country Magic race, $50,000, benchmark 58. Where are we starting, Gord? Anything?
I think Dunn's got a lock on the race, so his two horses, which are Ashman and Bling and Bubbles. There's a whisper around that Bling and Bubbles is sprouted wings since its last start. It's been training magnificently.
Blinging, has it?
Yeah, it's been Bling and Bubbles. But for me, the best horse in the race is Ashman. Got to carry the heavy weight and doesn't have as advantageous a barrier in barrier 9, while the other one has barrier 2. But I think one of those two gets the job done.
Nigel?
Passing on this race.
And Paul?
The hardest race of the day got Perlo on top, the other done race.
Okay, it's a done deal, that one. Race 8 is the feature. It's the Lismore Cup, and we lost the pre-post favourite, Ocean Addict, so it's now become a considerably wider betting race with Katamara Al just shading favouritism there. We got involved in the Calcutta last night and ended up with Ambitious Prince and Katamara Al. Do we want to play with them?
Partnership.
Me and that with partnership.
Partnership.
Sorry, we've got partnership and Katamara Al, not Ambitious Prince. My apologies. Gord, what are you saying now?
It was the easiest race to do in the world when the favourite was in, but it's gone now, which I think makes it confusing. The only suggestion I should make is that I think it's a false favourite at the moment, the current favourite, which is Katamara Al. So if you are interested in it, bet late and maybe play a few of the others at a bit of value, which is maybe 8 Partnership and 9 Ambitious Prince.
Yeah, which is the way I saw it, 8 and 9. Nigel, what are you prognosticating here?
You're not a lot further to add. I think Ambitious Prince at last time I looked $10 was I thought a bit of a each way bet.
Hot rider goes forward, quick back up.
Keep up form, Paul.
Yeah, good form that.
Yeah.
We won't mention the war. Go on, Paul. What are you doing here?
Look, I mean, I've got the favourite on top, and I'm worried about where it gets to on the map, and that's its biggest problem. I thought I Miss You actually would race up on the speed somewhere, and or it could. I know it's going to take a good ride to get it in there from that gate. But look, Peak Hill, I suppose, is the other danger. So I'm against the other horses you mentioned, but
you're against 8 and 9.
Yeah.
So all right, that's fairly plain. Gord, which are the best ones here today? Sounds like race 1, number 1, Sledgehammer.
And race 4, Malmusa.
Right.
They're the two I'm mainly interested in.
Okay. All right. Nigel, have you got a play of the day?
Fingers crossed for Sledgehammer.
Okay. And Paul, do you want to...
I'd probably lean towards Sledgehammer and maybe Boncosta.
Okay, that's a very brief look at an important day at Lismore where the sun is shining and G. Pollitt's down there getting ready to look at the horses. We will update you on Twitter with anything that stands out from the yard. And of course we're here running the Punters Paradise Marquee, so we need to make good of what we've been given and hopefully declare a fat dividend at the end of the day. Back on deck tomorrow for a look at Randwick, soggy Randwick, probably from Ballina, and we hope to catch you then. See ya.
See you guys.
See ya.